another edition of Mortgage Talks. I'm your host, Adam Hires. Remember, get on hirescoaching.com. Download your free business transformation playbook today. Listen, your 2021 has already started. You didn't even know it. Remember, it's a 90-day burn, guys. 90-day burn. What you're doing now is showing up 90 days from now. It depends on what your business is. Sometimes it's longer than that, but mortgages professionals, we know that it's a 90-day burn. What you're doing now, the relationships you're gaining traction with now are showing up 90 days from now. Now, that could be, obviously, people are looking for homes. People are going to, take a second to find a home. So right now, if you are not already in 2021 mode, you're missing the boat. So there's a lot of people out there talk about it. The reason I love 12 weeks is that there's three categories that you're going to be in when it comes to goals. You're on track, you're ahead of track, or you're behind. All three of those have big landmines. All of them have landmines. Because right now you may be like, oh man, I just had a great 2020. I'm coasting in. And then before you know it, if you do that, 2021 is going to be off track big time. So it doesn't matter. You think you have this in the bag. It's cool. Now I can coast. Well, you're not thinking about 2021. You better start thinking about it now. So all those have traps no matter what, which three categories you're in. That's why I love to go by 12 weeks. Don't worry about where you're at now. Hit the next 12 weeks running and keep continuing to crush your business. So this podcast is not about me bloviating about how good a coach I am, because listen, I am, learning and growing just like you are out there. I've done it at a pretty good level. There's people out there doing it at a higher level. The people out there that are doing 5 and 10 loans a month, I can absolutely should be able to help you if your mindset is right. Okay. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing in people that are doing it at an even higher level than me out there, coming in and giving you solid foundational work to grow your business. So I'm super excited for my guest today, because this guy is going to help you grow your business today for 2021. Kick the doors down, burn all the ships, grow your business. No choice for growth, legacy, impact. We got Travis Huff from realtimeoutsource.com. Travis, what's going on, brother?
What is good? What is good, brother? I'm doing good, man. Living the dream here, making it through a pandemic, obviously. And, as we all are, but you're absolutely right. I love that 12 weeks. I love what you say about that. You're either on track, you're ahead, or you're behind. And in any day, I always say, as an entrepreneur or anyone that wants to do anything, the most important thing you do every day is that you just do you. Whether that's for 1 hour, 15 minutes, 2 hours, as much time as you have. I mean, every day is a little different. But if you don't focus on your goals, folks, and you don't get things that you want done, whether that's recording a show on a podcast, doing your own podcast, creating a new business, etc., working on your business, which is one of the biggest things, you're going to be left behind, like you said, in 2021 and beyond. And sometimes we get caught up in the minutia of emails and I'm busy, I got this and that, I got many things to do, and we forget how important it is to build the business and to hop on shows like this that, 8 months from now come out and impact somebody, or someone's listening 2 years from now and all of a sudden they reach out to me. So it's the long-term game you got to think of, especially guys right now. Your reputation is going to be so important, and a little bit about me, my man, is, I started in a little town of Fresno and haven't left, man. Got a lot of places. It recorded and interviewed tons of people and guests on my side and been on people's shows, but I haven't left my hometown because I love my family and friends here. That's a great place to live. It's a great affordable place to live, and a great place to build a business. So why change that? You can travel anywhere, but I got a chance, obviously, out of college to work for a great company, for the Walt Disney Company. One of the best companies in the world, guys. Obviously, you guys know a lot. Disney's going through a lot right now this year with all their parks and everything, but still one of the greatest companies. If they didn't have Disney Plus, and if they didn't have all their other assets, they would be in a whole world of hurt if you listen to the story. And it's amazing to watch that come from the cartoon drawings of a few people, to see where it is today. And that always inspired me, so I got a chance to work under the ABC television brand, working with
Oh,
brands like McDonald's and working with small and large businesses, doing television and digital campaigns. And I was literally doing that for about 4.5 years when I'm sitting at a Starbucks with a friend, and he says, "Hey man, people are going to need their Facebook pages managed." And I was like, "Who? People like you, like professionals?" And he's like, "No, dude, businesses are going to need their Facebook pages managed." This is in November of 2008. And slowly, man, I just started putting together a PowerPoint. I started, kind of cultivating what my message or outreach would be. Like, what would I be doing for these people? And it really was simple. We'd be managing their Facebook page, and still today, 11 years later, we got our first client in June of 2009, our first signed check, and started a business bank account. And 11 years, later, plus a few months, it's been the same request. It's been Facebook, man. I mean, it's still been Facebook. All there's a lot of other platforms that we do and help manage, and LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and all these other different ones. The request has stayed the same, man. And so it's like, how can I help manage my Facebook? How can I basically get the most exposure from what I'm already currently doing? And then now, obviously, as you know, people are wanting to do the other platforms. So sometimes the clients that were just doing Facebook are now doing Facebook and Instagram. And so we're doing both campaigns for them, and that's kind of a way our business grows, is by people wanting to, do more with us, obviously in service. And so it's been a journey, man. It's not an easy business, guys. Social media is not an easy business. Obviously, anyone that knows social, it's a game that you got to play every day.
yep.
And it's a time game. So it's like, whether you guys do it or whether we do it, it's just a time game. And so, creating those relationships to where you're eventually selling things in the direct message is kind of where it all goes. Whether you're selling a vehicle, a lot of people are buying those vehicles in direct message, or at least basically pretty much qualifying and getting ready in the direct message. And then same thing with houses, and same thing with even big purchases, pools. We work with pool builders, and $60,000, $56,000 pool quotes are coming in from the direct message. So these are places that people don't even see. And it's one-on-one. I mean, that's the thing that I think people quite often forget. Number one, I always try to educate people about is that social media is email at scale. And email has been around since 1971. So when I first got into the business, the first thing you'd hear is, "Oh, social media is a fad. It's going to go away."
Right.
It's right. And it's still obviously here. It's become bigger, and there's negatives and positives, right? But really what it is it's at scale, one-on-one communication. And now you can scale it up. Maybe you get 5 people comment on it, and now you can comment back to 5 people instead of just 1. And you can let people know what you're doing, or go live and do these different things where you would never be able to scale and do that and touch as many people as easy as it is. And so it's a thing that people forget, because everyone goes right to, "I want 1 million followers. I want 1 million this. I want, this." But a lot of times you don't even need that,
Right.
You just need consistent customers seeing your message, saying, "Hey, that makes sense." Or, "Hey, at the end of the day, if you already have a big customer base, you need to keep building loyalty with them so that they want to keep doing business with you." That's really what it is. And we can talk a lot more about that, because obviously I can get long-winded about that, but that's really in the gist of what we do, man. So 11 years now, sped up. It's been a crazy journey, and a lot of challenges now with this crazy year, man. Unfortunately, many categories of business closed, and we're just now giving back to those categories and trying to find ways to help them, man, in this crazy year, to get them to next year, to 2021, man.
Yeah.
Which we all look forward to.
Yeah.
I look forward to finding out this week what happens in the election, because
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter either way. Truly, it's a matter about what you do every day.
Right.
No matter what. It ain't coming into your house, guys. If you are doing what you got to get done every day, you win. And then no matter who's in charge, it won't matter for 50 years from now, as long as you wake up and do everything. Now, if you believe it's the opposite, then it's going to be, you want to feel like you're controlled by it, but you're not. You're in America, baby. You can do anything.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right there. That's like my American eagle back here, right? Like, absolutely. What you focus on grows. There's no reason to. I posted this thing on Facebook the other day about those that lose the election, right? Their side, a day later, just hope they do it. Whoever you were wrong about the person, and just go on about your business, right? So
Yes.
it's just the way it is. But for me, I love what you're saying. It's so funny too. Facebook or any social media platform. First of all, I think that it is the CRM to use, right? That's a CRM. Like everybody's like, what's the best CRM? It's like social media is CRM. That's the best CRM
LinkedIn.
because emails now are like, it's like, and of course, there's a lot of marketing out there, right? You go to companies like mortgages or wherever, and they have this marketing department, which a lot of times I think they're just doing a lot of stuff just to justify their job, right?
Sure
Like
they are.
it's just because,
Sure they
and they're sending these canned messages out like this. Well, look what we do now for you. It's like that's not really generating any business, and sometimes there's a negative connotation, really, because they don't like all the spam and everything else. It's not real talk. So CRM is definitely like, what's your best CRM? It's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's those platforms, wherever you decide to use, because you're in front of the client, you're talking to them indirectly, and a lot of times what you notice is, and I know what you've seen this all the time, you probably talk to your clients about it, it's the person that never comments or even likes on anything, all of a sudden then they show up, right? Like for even my coaching, my coach was telling me the same thing, right? It's like, you're going to keep posting this stuff, and somebody that's not going to ever like or comment is going to all of a sudden be in your inbox, like, or schedule an appointment with you. Sure enough, it happens. Like, man, I love everything you're posting. And I just resonate with you. I didn't know anything about them, never saw them on anything. So that's a huge thing, is just doing it, and just don't worry about the outcome of it all the time, of like the instant outcome. The train is going down the track, and we talked about in the inbox. Like I do 5 direct messages a day, no matter what.
Oh,
just
nice.
Like these 5
Nice.
direct messages. Just
Right.
direct message somebody. Just talk to them. It's like,
Absolutely.
and it's like, I mean, how much money, I have a thing
Smart and scalable. Yeah, smart and scalable.
right?
Dude. You're doing it
Easy.
efficient.
Yeah.
Not like you're spending 50 a day or some overwhelming task.
Yeah, it's
And
easy.
the biggest thing you said that hits it on the head before we, go further, is that people have always forgot with social, it's still always about the impression.
Yeah.
What you explained is the impression.
Mhm.
Television stations, radio, everything you've ever bought in advertising has always been about the impression. Whether you're buying a magazine ad or whatever, you don't know if that person engages with the ad and likes the ad or not, or they skip the ad. The engagement part has been the tertiary part that we've all focused on, but we've all forgot that the impression is the most important part.
Right.
And many times, like what you said, is the person that never engages, the person that never comments, is the person that actually does business with you.
Yeah.
Or the person that in person you like meet up with them. Hey, dude, I watch all your lives. You never comment on any
Right.
live.
Right. Exactly.
But you watch every one? What?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just that thing you have to just get over. You got to get over the fact of the comments and likes and all this stuff that doesn't really matter, and focus on the impressions. How many views did I get? How many people saw this thing? And move on.
Right.
Keep putting content out, because that's the one that wins, is the one that always keeps putting content out.
Yeah, putting content out. I mean, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. Putting the content out. If you're trying to provide value, then just put the content out. It doesn't matter. Just provide the value. And here's the thing. Here's what I've noticed, and I'm sure that you know all about this, because you're, far more in depth than I am with this whole subject. But for example, even on I've noticed on my own personal page, for example, Facebook. So I remember back, I was really doing a lot of like inspirational stuff, right? And the first time I'd put it, like, also I'd get boom, 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 a lot of people liking and comment and everything else. As you go, that dwindles down. Yeah. But what's funny, and people think you're not being successful, but that's the trick. That's the lie, because what happens is that even though your likes and all that stuff go down and the comments go down, you're going deeper with the people that want and really listen to you. Because as I've done that, all of a sudden you do have more people coming to you like, man, you've really inspired me. All of a sudden the messages start coming and say, hey, by the way, I just really love what you're saying, and man, you're such an inspiration, all this stuff. So we think that as it goes down, that is, not at that point, not being successful. But what you're not realizing out there, people, is like, you're going deeper with the people that you want to go deep with. And it's only going deep is when you get business from people.
Oh yeah.
and
Go
really
trust,
resonate with
maybe.
people. That's so
Nope.
so so it's not just they're just people just liking it because as you go, people are like, it's same thing. I don't want to hear it today or whatever. That happens, but the ones that are really listening, the runners really paying attention, the ones that really going deep with, that is the key.
Absolutely. And the key is just not giving up.
Yeah.
So, like when I started my show, my podcast 6.5 years ago, coming up on 7 years ago, um, it was the same thing, dude. And it was like, and now we haven't kept giving up, you know? And so, you like anything in life, if you keep with that mentality, you will win. And you don't have to compete with anybody. My podcast is not competing with Joe Rogan's podcast. His podcast is going to blow all of our podcasts out of the water. It's at a different level. It's at a different level, folks. And the point is, you don't have to compete. Just be grateful. Be grateful there are listeners that listen to you and try to make your show continually interesting and keep working at it. And the bigger the catalog you have, the bigger you can get bigger guests for one. The fact that when you build bigger catalog, you get a bigger guest show. And then the fact that, on anything, a blog or anything you create, folks, YouTube or anything you do, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything, if someone only sees one post, they aren't going to believe you. So put content out, and it doesn't matter who's engaging, and just keep working at it. It's the biggest thing. We can get into some tips and tricks that I can tell you right now, man, work. So if you'd like to get into that, I would love to share those right
Absolutely.
now.
I would love to. Let's go deep and impact.
Let's go, baby. So right
it.
now, the 5 things you can do that I've always kept in most foundational of almost all of our campaigns, but now more than ever. First is tell your story.
Absolutely.
You can do that through Facebook stories. You can do that through Instagram stories. The actual stories part of it is a beautiful thing because it's easy to do. It's unedited. No one's worried about the engagement. No one can see who viewed it. And you actually get quite a bit of people that actually do view those things. So use stories first. I think now LinkedIn has stories now.
Yeah.
All the platforms now have stories. So you can take stories on one platform and share them across them all. You don't have to do individually stories. If you want to, that's great. If you have plenty of time on your hands and you can do Snapchat only stories, that's awesome. But for most of us, make videos, put them out on all the platforms on stories, right? And then also tell your story through your posts too. Like, why are you keeping working hard for businesses? What are you doing to keep them safe? What can you look back on and say that we could do better? Where can we listen to our customers more? And then tell your story. Like, why did we start this business? Why do we want to keep going at this business? Tell the funnies, tell the shit shows, tell all the parts of the business. And like you said, you can do that in a fleeting manner through stories. The people that follow you watch these things, they disappear after 24 hours. You still want to use them wisely. You can then also categorize them in your Instagram, and so the people can go back on your stories and look back on them. But storytelling is the most important thing you can do with social, because that's what gets people in. The best social media marketers, guys, are storytellers. The Gary Vaynerchuks and the people that really know how to hit social hard, no matter what industry you look at, are great storytellers. Okay. My boy, Tom Bilyeu, great storyteller. Okay. The best people in the industry, Tony Robbins or anybody in motivation, are great storytellers. Right. Yeah. And then, and the best brands are too. So you think about your favorite brands and look at who tells the best stories, and you'll start to see where your loyalty is going to hang, especially going forward. That's the first one. Second one is be funny. Funny always works. We have our own Funny Cats page that has 157,000 followers on Facebook. It started as a training page. It literally was like we were putting out funny cat memes, and next thing you know, it started going viral. Next thing you know, we're competing for posts, and it's been a great way for us to train our team. Also, obviously, create some relationships and some revenue streams from just having that many followers, selling things on shops and things like that you can do once you build a following. So funny always works, folks. If you don't think so, try this on your Facebook. And I like to focus on Facebook because Facebook has a feature that most of the other platforms really don't have or people don't use. And that is the share button. So the beauty and the power of Facebook amongst all the other platforms is the fact that you could share my posts instantly, quickly. Now the retweet's always been there, but people, rarely retweet as much as the share feature. It's the number one feature. Instagram does not have this feature by design because they didn't want to, But the point is, it's the it factor, because if I get 500 people to share a post, it goes much more viral than if I get 500 people to like the post on Instagram, right?
Right.
So 500 shares or whatever. So the thing you'll find about funny memes, guys, non-branded, no logos, non-branded funny memes, is that it's just good content. So pick a day, a funny Friday. There's funny mortgage ones, there's funny house or real estate deals. Like, look at these shady, funny shady real estate deals, funny weird mortgage deals. Just type in mortgage funny memes on the beautiful Google search and start sharing these things once a week. The reason why you want to do this, guys, is you want to have not only a mix of content, but you want to be tricking people into the algorithms of Facebook.
Yeah.
The algorithms of Facebook are, if you're sharing my content every week, guess what you're seeing next week? My content. If you don't touch my content, you don't like, comment, or share on my posts, guess what's going to happen? You're never going to see me again. If you do not comment or like on my 20 posts, in my recent 20 posts, you will never see me again with outside of boosted posts. Okay. So these are things that just the algorithms do.
Let me ask you this, algorithm. If you get in somebody's inbox.
Sure. Number one thing you can do.
That pushes it back in. They'll see your stuff.
Number one trigger is inbox.
So they'll see your stuff after that, correct?
Absolutely. That's the number one trigger to get someone to see your stuff again, is inbox. And get them to comment back to you. Second is share. Next is probably tagging or commenting on your post. And then last is liking, right? Okay. But the most important thing, guys, is that this is just content that people share. So each week you're going to have another piece of shareable content, funny. Next is emotional or motivational. Okay, these are combo. You can do both. Tell an emotional story about how you saved a customer or what you did in a moment, or share just an emotional story you saw on the media. We all have this crazy negative stuff, so maybe share an emotional story of a good thing that happened in the world. You'd be surprised how this stuff gets shared. And lastly is motivate people. Have a motivational Monday. Have a motivational day that you do a quote, a post, something like you talked about that has a motivational aspect to it. It gets people through their day. And it truly helps. We see this on mortgage pages. Get at least 3 to 10 shares probably every week on small pages. And none of their other posts get the same kind of engagement as a start of the week or end of the week, towards the weekend kind of post, or a start of the week kind of mindset. Let's get ready, ramp up, let's go. It's just something it's just good content. It's not about you. And so that's the thing to think about. Those kind of posts right there give people the chance to engage, right? But the last one is the killer. The last one has always worked since we've started this business. It always works. It's timeline engagement contest, folks. Give a prize away each week. Pull out $5 out of your pocket or $10 out of your pocket. Give away a Subway card. Give away McDonald's, Starbucks, wherever. Put $5 in cash, $10. I don't know, in the mortgage industry, it's easier. Everything's better when you do gift cards, right? Just because it's kind of that weird thing about cash. Like, even with just like people that you just want to tip, you're like, I can't accept your cash. I could accept a gift card though. So gift cards tend to always work. So find your favorite place to give a gift card and give them, guys. This is just another great way of finding engagement and getting and tricking these people into now engaging with another post on your feed, so that they see your next post that's about your training stuff, my man, for you, or your coaching stuff that isn't going to get the same engagement. Let's just be real. It's just the nature of the business.
Right.
As if you pulled out $20 and said, hey, I'm going to do a $20 Starbucks gift card for the person that I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 200. Yes. You might get 100 comments. It's key. It's key. It's crucial. Make that part of your weekly routine. Give. The more you do, the more you'll get. Yeah. So I suggest not giving $1 million, but if you can give $10, if you can give $20 a week away to the fans in a form of gift cards, Amazon, grocery cards, anything, they love it, dude. People love it. Your current customers that already been customers, hey, man, we really appreciate that, man. We're always going to keep doing loans with you guys. We already did 23 wholesale deals with you guys. We're going to keep doing wholesale deals with you guys. For a $10 Starbucks gift card, you built that kind of loyalty? Dude. So that's what it's all about. Those are the 5 foundations. Tell your story, be funny, motivate, emotional story, kind of like emotional, or kind of, I like sharing emotional stories because that stuff also gets shared. And then lastly, the killer's contest. The more you give, the more you receive. And if you've tricked the algorithm on those 5 pieces of content, you can do anything else you want. You can talk about sales stuff. You can try to send people to your website. The second that you post a link in your Facebook post, they're immediately going to take that post down. I mean, they're going to bring the reach down to the lowest possible amount. Okay. Because they don't want anyone leaving Facebook. Right. So these are all also content that do not do that. Right. So none of these content send people away. So then Facebook's gonna be like, hey, you know what? No worries, man. He has all these awesome other posts. We're going to give him a little more love on this post that sends people off of Facebook, because he also does all these things every week to keep people engaged that has nothing to do with sending people off. And so it's a pay to play, just like boosting posts. It's one of the tricks that you can do, guys, to essentially get Facebook to give you more reach free. And you're already going to do the post anyways, man. So why not? Why not mix it up? And we can talk for hours about this, but those have always worked, right? And then we could get into some action items that you can do right now, my man. These are things that I think kill right now. Outside of just content, these are kind of more actionable things you can do. Selling gift cards. So you can create offers on Facebook or any of the platforms and sell gift cards. You can sell gift cards for $100 gift certificate for $50, $100 to $60, $100 for $40. Something that's around a 40 to 60% discount, people buy. So whatever industry you're in, you're a pizzeria, you're whatever that you could possibly sell a gift card, guys, in, it kills at a 40 to 60% discount. And hey, dude, you're not losing until someone buys. Right? So with the gift card, the best part, or a discount, the best part is I can give you a discount right now. I'm going to give everyone on the show a $500,000 discount off a $1 million campaign. But no one has taken advantage of this opportunity, guys, until they give me a call. Yeah. So that's the beauty of an offer or a discount, is that, and it's the best thing you could possibly do to leverage business, because you don't have any advertising costs or acquisition costs or anything. You're just putting out an offer. So I see these killing in restaurants. I see these killing in any kind of business that you can have a gift card. Next thing is going live. People often underutilize the power of live. Even myself, guys. I didn't take live that seriously until this year. And my man, I did live in a whole different way. I started doing my own club quarantine on a Friday or Saturday night, where I created a nightclub with a DJ set, which I've always liked practicing in DJing, but I never really had practiced or done it because I have a child and it's not really something I do. And then finally I was like, hey, dude, I'm going to go live. I'm just going to DJ for people, play music and play fun things. And it's been interesting because you have to like kind of fight the copyright bots and everything, but at scale, it's so interesting how this DJ thing is taken on, as far as like people are so into it at scale. And it's just friends and family. And the point is, it's not really business yet, right? We haven't booked gigs because people aren't back into having fun out there. But when we do, I've already got requests from people. Hey, will you do my birthday party? Will you do this? So the point is, you just never know how these things can impact you. And now in your business, you can go live to just say, hey, we're going to cover these topics on Mondays. We're going to talk about Mortgage Mondays. What's going on in the market? What people are tackling, what are we hearing, what the newest things that are coming, and what you could be doing today. You know, anyone can do that. And so the thing that people often don't do, this is why this is the beauty of it all, is they just are afraid to push that button, dude. Even myself, guys, I have been afraid to push the button until this year, when I found out through Club Quarantine the power of just consistently doing this every Friday or Saturday. Or for instance, you pick a day and just go live every Friday or Monday, that people really enjoy it. And then the beauty too, guys, is the live video can be posted on the feed, and it gets many more people that see it beyond the live numbers. So quite often, my man, there'll be people like, you'll be recording, there's only like 5 or 10 people seeing it. Well, when the video goes live on the feed, it gets 500 views. After it goes, and gets posted, right? So that's the beauty of live that people forget, is you're just creating content, right? And the last ones are very important right now, guys, is reaching out for reviews, man. I mean, how many people, that's the one most foundational thing, whatever category of business you're doing, is having a plan to get reviews. And that's something that most businesses don't do. And I think it's hard to do sometimes, but having some sort of software, having some sort of mechanism in your business to getting those reviews weekly, when you're doing deals, getting reviews, Google wants to see that, Facebook wants to see that. And lastly, taking advantage of this, guys, there's social media ads are right now at a discount. Google, Facebook ads are at a discount, because A lot of businesses are going out of business. A lot of businesses have completely pulled off their ads. So now is the time that if you've never tried Google Ads in your business, it's pretty good for your bang for your buck, man. I mean, never is there better a time that these platforms are essentially cheaper per dollar or per view than they've ever been because of there's been a pullback of some advertisers. So hey, take advantage of it, man. Run some Google ads. It's really easy to do. Run some Facebook ads and see what can happen from it, man. Let's go.
That is that's a lot. People are gonna have to listen.
That's a whole shit show. That's a whole shit show right there, man.
I think people are gonna have to listen to that a couple times and definitely write the notes because you threw a lot in there.
I'm
love
sorry,
it.
man. I
No,
got excited about that. I
no,
like that.
no, there's no apology needed. I mean, I'm saying you gave a lot of content
Absolutely,
in a short amount of time. So definitely things that people can implement and do. You know, I have this. I have this podcast that is titled "Don't Do Video," and that's
oh, nice.
It's actually, of course, not what I meant, what I meant in the thing, but mine was don't do video if you're just going to do it one time and you're just not going to,
absolutely,
if you're going to commit to something, commit to it. A lot of people just, well, somebody said to do it, and then you do one or two, and it's like, well, it's not working. Again, it's about just keep continuing to do it. Not worrying about it. I was asked the other day, actually, because a lot of I think through LinkedIn, somebody's like, "Well, you're not getting a ton of engagement. You just keep on putting it out there." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I just again get straight to value, put something out there. It absolutely, it's people have reached out for it again. So just continue to do these things, implement. I love that, I love those tips. There's a few of those I did not know about.
Oh yeah, dude.
For sure.
Especially the content for sure, dude. I mean, it's foundational. And I think to go on what you said is just don't do stupid shit, guys. Like, hey, if someone asks you to go jump off a building, were you going to research it? Like, just before you do anything in content, know that there's going to be an outcome, and also know that sometimes you're going to want to plan and prepare and also execute. And most importantly, at the point when you're ready, you got to jump, right? So the key thing about anything, like you said, is that the most thing that most people do and give up as content creators is give up after 7 pieces of content, whether that's a blog, videos, podcasts, etc., create music, anything. They just give up after 7 pieces of it because they don't feel like they got the return, whether that's financially, whether that's emotionally, motivationally, to come back and do it again. And the key thing is to keep putting in those reps, man. I mean, that I think is the key thing that you laid out. Look at your squat rack behind you, man. I mean, the key thing that you can do in your lives, guys, is know that when you do decide to go push live and go on club quarantines on Fridays and Saturdays, that you will keep doing it every Friday and Saturday. Because that's the way it builds. That's the way anything builds. It's if you just do one-time club quarantine, no one gives a shit.
Right.
2-time club quarantine, no one gives a shit. B-roll show 2 times, no one gives a 290 shows. You've interviewed Tom Bilyeu and all, some people, oh shit, I like Tom. He's a good dude. Hey, that's the whole point. And the message is that it all builds. And so, and that's just not giving up on you guys. So don't give up on yourself. When you do decide to pack yourself and put yourself in that, space shuttle, if you want to call it, of content and go out for the world of beyond. We don't know how viral someone could be listening right now, could just had a good idea and could go and become the next big thing.
Yep.
But it's going to take that you did it every day. Right. And that's the most important thing to remind yourself in those shit show days, even though those tough days that we're all obviously going through this year has been a crazy year. If we can make it out of this thing, we can do anything, man. And so that's the whole point. And that's the thing in not giving up on yourself, is that you always have to remind yourself, if I can keep recording this podcast, it's only going to get better. And that's quite often, I think, the biggest flaw of humans is that we quite often just get distracted by the next thing. We just go, oh shit, there's another squirrel over here. Oh shit, there's another squirrel over here. And no one wants to build. People quite often ask, how the hell did you get all these autographs? Because you're all autographs, hand signed. A lot of them have my name on them, inscripted. Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods, Brett Favre, the greatest, Phil Knight, legends on all 4 walls. It's because I woke up as a kid and I'd find their address and I'd send them a mail and I'd send them a letter and I'd say, I'm one of your biggest fans, man. I would love an autograph. And I would wake up And I would do that every weekend. And I wouldn't give up on the project. And that's how I got all these, is that I didn't just get one. Having one of these look cool, but having thousands of them, hundreds of them, it create that's I knew early on in my life that that's the key thing that makes me different, is that you don't have to be perfect. You just wake up and keep doing it every weekend. And the most important thing that I think people forget, my man, is that it doesn't take hours every day. It takes 1 hour strategically once a week to do anything. And I always say, start with 1 hour. Once you're done with that 1 hour, stop, then do it next week 1 hour. Don't go 15 hours today and get burned out and then not do it next week, right? This doesn't happen in everything, working out, everything. You hear about it all the time, dieting, everything. They go too fucking hard. They go too crazy, and then they just give up. And so the key thing is just 1 hour, guys. If you want to do anything, just spend 1 hour. And then when you're done, say, okay, I'm done 1 hour. Let's do it next week, whether that's going live on DJing, whether that's going live on whatever you want to do, whether that's creating artwork, anything. Like, dude, anything starts there, and then it goes more. If you see, hey, shit, this is becoming successful. Okay, I'll spend 2 hours each week. Oh, shit, this is becoming profitable. I'll spend 3 hours each week. Oh, shit, this is a business. I'll spend now 8 hours each week because it's actually making me money, you know? And so, and you invest more time as you see it becoming more. And then, because if you only do one a week, 1 hour, like I still do my podcast for about 2 hours each week now, recording for guests, usually around there. I haven't made it more because it hasn't brought me the other things. Right. It has, my business has brought me more other things. So I spend more time still doing that. My family, I got to keep working at that. But the podcast stays where it's at because it's still booked out. We're booked out to February next year. The point is, I don't want to make my guests change my whole life for my guests. I don't want to spend 8 hours recording guests all day. No, if you want to record with me, well, you can record in February, right? I mean, that's just what it is. So the point is, and you just create your life that way. And I think that's the most important thing. And not the opposite, because most of the thing I've ever seen, man, from my friends, even myself, guys, is that you spend too much time once and then you get burned out and then you just don't do it again. And you're like, oh shit, I'm not good at that.
That's because the lie that people tell themselves and other people tell them, like, well, I'm going to make up ground. And it's like, you don't make up ground. You just start where you're at. And that's even if I'm saying, hey, if we say we're going to call a certain amount of people a day and you don't call them that day and it's like, well, I'm going to make it up next day. No, don't do that, because first of all, you give yourself an out when you don't do it. That you're like, well, you keep saying that, and you're saying it's either got to happen then or it doesn't happen at all, and making sure it happens, right? And being like you said, consistent. I mean, people working, that's a whole different subject that really aggravates me, right? Like, personal trainers are most of the time idiots. Okay, let's just say it the way it is.
Right.
They're idiots. It's like, well, you work somebody out for 2 hours that hasn't worked out forever, and it's like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Why don't you work them out for 15 to 20 minutes? They haven't worked out for 20 years. Like, build them up, right? So
the business model is broken. Yeah, it's like that's not the right model, because like they're dying and then they don't ever want to come see you again. You'd rather build them up and say, hey man, give me 50 push-ups today, and then 50 squats today, and then start there, and then let's get to 100, but that wouldn't be profitable, a business model. So it might have to change, obviously with this COVID. I know many personal trainers that their business have been impacted. So the legacy of just training people and just having all this money flowing through, it's changed. And so, I think it makes a lot more sense what you said, have a 15-minute personal training session. That would make more sense for people that are out of shape and need just 15 minutes of HIIT cardio, a HIIT training session consistently. They're going to get way more results than the person that does a 5-hour session, or, a 5-day, 5-hour session, and then just gives up for the next 5 years. I mean, so it's just a proven thing, man.
But I love what you said there. Is like, don't focus. Basically, you don't focus on things that don't put this huge focus and all this energy and time behind something when you don't know that's how that's paying off, or it's not paying off yet. Go with the activities that are paying off now. So like, when somebody listens to this, I think this is very imperative. Like, you hit on a point that people just like, so when I say don't do video, right? Like, there's these people that'll come along and say, man, if you don't do video, like for example, you're a mortgage loan officer or you're a real estate agent or you're an insurance agent. You don't do videos, like your just business is going to just fail miserably, and which is not really true.
Not true.
Okay, but like what happens is then all of a sudden they put all this energy into doing this and think it's going to happen now, and they put all this, and then all of a sudden their business starts going backwards, and they're like, well, hey, this doesn't work. What works is doing what you do now that does work, and having these spaces where you do the things we talked about on Facebook, and going out there, and maybe it's spending 30 minutes a day or 40, whatever time frame it is, that to build onto your business and start getting out there. And then, hey, listen, if you can build on, it's like right now, Travis, right? Like you talked about your podcast. If it all of a sudden came along that you're going to make the amount of money that Joe Rogan does, right, off his podcast, if I was going to all of a sudden, my podcast was going to make me as much as Joe Rogan, I'd probably have a little different focus than I have now. But my podcast, kind of like you said, like put it out there. I'm putting content out there. I'm trying to help people. Does it help me generate some business? Absolutely, it does in different fashions. But it's not a generation, where it's generating me so much business that's what I'm going to be doing 8 hours a day,
Full
right?
time.
Like full time.
Right.
So it's we have to look at that, what it's doing for our business right now, and continuously look at and monitor that if we need to place more time there. But putting some strategies together, it's going to work, is great. Put it in. Just be cognizant of how much hours you're putting in to do that, and what is working right now. Keep continuing to hammer and push in all the way there, and don't fall off those activities. Figure out how you can have add-ons that will generate business now and later, and then monitor it through time. Because if you can become a Facebook superstar and you're able to grab business there, all right, and you don't have to call as many people, then you can dial, you can make those dials a little different. But absolutely, I love your point, because that's where people miss the boat, because all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I got to do all this stuff on Facebook. I got to do this, and I got to do this, and it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and now they're spending all this time, and then again, their business retracts because their focus is on stuff that's not generating business now, and the activities that took them to get there. You're adding stuff off to take to the next level, but it's only in the segments that it needs to be.
Yeah, and I mean, it literally is just 1 hour a week. So spend 1 hour a week. If you haven't reached out to people on Google Ads, if you never learned about how to do Google Ads, spend 1 hour a week running a Google ad campaign. Right. You can do it for $1 a day, guys. I mean, you can do it for $3 a day, $10 a day, whatever your reasonable budget is for your business. It doesn't have to be thousands a day that you start with, but you can learn these things. And I think that's the most important thing that I would love people to continue to remind themselves, is that we all can learn.
Right.
And that with that 1 hour a week, over time, after 52 weeks, you will become a better DJ. You will become a better artist if you want to do painting or art. You'll become a better Facebook ads or Google ads person after 52 weeks of tweaking your ads, seeing what works, seeing how the message works. And that skill is much more important than necessarily just going off and paying some company. Even though obviously I run Facebook ads for customers, and we have lots of customers that can do Facebook. There's a point where it makes more sense to have a business do it, right? For some businesses, but for a lot of businesses, it also makes a lot of sense for them to do it,? And so the key thing that we find in general in anything is that, for you have to find out what makes work best for you, but learn it yourself first. And if it becomes, hey, I'm spending too much time on Facebook, I need a professional company to really take this to the next ball for me, because I know how much time I'm now spending on this. Even 1 hour a week for some entrepreneurs is less than our retainer based on what they charge or what their value of their time is. So it's surprising quite often that they're, sucking up a lot more than, like, a lot of times it's 7-10 hours a week that they're dumping in this thing, and they're not getting the return of, having a team to work for $500 a month and do it all. And instead of you, Mr. Business Owner, spending 7 or 10 hours of your time, which you need to be in front of customers, or just living a better life with that time, because it doesn't make sense for you, And so, like I said, it's not for everybody in what we do, but the point is, in any service, right? It's like, it's whether you do it or whether I do it, whether I decide to learn how to become a plumber and do it myself, or I hire a plumber. I mean, there's a value to know how the plumbing works so that you don't get ripped off. I mean, there's a value to know these things, guys, and it just takes a little bit of your time on a Saturday or Sunday for 1 hour to research how does the plumbing work in my house. And so that when the plumber comes, he says, "Hey, this is $5,000." You can tell him, "Hey, dude, there's no way this is $5,000, dude." Or you can at least maybe even do it yourself, because you might find out it's that easy, And so quite often, many times, especially with a good YouTube video and a few tools, you can do that service yourself. And then, it builds to your recommendation. Now, I don't suggest people go start fixing electrical and shit on their houses or doing anything crazy. But the point is, whether that's Facebook ads or whether that's starting to build a new website, you don't have to be controlled by, oh, I need website developer to build a new website. You don't need these things. You can learn to do these things on your own, guys, with 1 hour per week. And start small, man, and then but be consistent, because I always believe in that. Many people they won't do it. So they will be giving up after a few weeks, and so that's what it's just like Gary Vee talks about, he'll give you the recipe and then he knows no one's going to do that. So It's like, you can give the best tips. I can give you $1 million business right now. Beat Amazon to deliver packages to your door. Now you got to do it, baby. So go ahead and beat Mr. Bezos, right? So it's just like anything. There are great ideas out there, but someone's got to execute on that, and it's going to be you. And so I always suggest doing that, because I've learned the hard way, of spending way too much time and money and investment in music business and things like that, to learn I should have taken only that 1 hour a week mentality, and it would have taken me much further and faster in my businesses and processes. And so I just like to just remind people that the 52 weeks, man, it's just like your 12 weeks, dude. It's going to put you light speeds ahead of where you were last year. If every year you're learning something new, if every year, 52 weeks, you're learning something different, or you're just now deciding, oh shit, I'm really learning more. I'm going to spend more time per week doing this because it's really paying off. It's going to benefit you. Just like you talked about with the 12 weeks, man. And so don't give up, folks. That's the most important thing, is do not give up on your dreams. And quite often people forget this. The more you do for yourself, the more you can do for others.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's part of my powerful, mantra out there, powerful. So I believe to be powerful, it's got a power with a 4 in the middle, powerful. And that is energy. That is really where you're getting energy from. That is self-investment. That's through fitness. That's through prayer. That's through meditation. That's through building up yourself and, pouring from a full cup. And number 2 is prospecting every single day. And number 3 is marketing every single day. And number 4 is relationships. So the powerful, if you can do those, you will be powerful as well. Travis, where can we meet you? Where can my folks get a hold of you? Who's the folks that you want to talk to, et cetera.
Dude. I mean, we work with all different types of businesses. We're really embedded with the mortgage and real estate industry, as well as we have all different types of businesses. So if you feel like it's a good fit, we have an audit that we'll do for you guys. If you go to realtimeoutsource.com /be real. So if you go to realtimeoutsource.com/be real, be real, we will give you a free audit. Or if you go to the real website, there's one on the homepage there, and fill out your business. We'll take a look at what you're doing. We'll actually even track your social mentions for the 30 days. We found this is really a good way of giving back. Obviously it's a great way of monitoring podcasts, if you want to call it, but really, actually, I've been surprised with how many people have taken advantage of it. And then also the reports, man, it helps them out. See who's talking about them, see who's their top influencers, and also the kind of content that they're talking about. So it provides just that intuitive way of giving value first, building some relationship. And obviously, if we can help, then obviously, we can put some plans together. But if you want to find me on social, guys, Tutalin, TALLIN, Tutalin on Instagram or on Twitter, Travis Huff, HUFF on LinkedIn. And if you type that in on Google, man, you'll find me, man, Tutalin. You'll probably find some of my music videos.
That's because you're so short, right?
Let's go, baby. I'm 5'1".
You're like 6. What are you, 6?
I'm 6'8". I'm 6'8", boss.
6'8".
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a blessing and a curse, man. Don't ever walk into an Italian elevator, man, because those things are built for 6 feet. And I walked in one time to an Italian elevator, and a marble slab met me about right here. I'll never forget that in my whole life, man, because it was a brainwave I'll never forget, man. I was like, ba-ding, like a video, dude, like a video game, like a pinball, dude. Most of the time, I'm okay out here in America at 7 feet doors, but man, in Italy, they make them for 6 feet, and so I hit that thing like I was running into a disco ball, man. It was crazy.
That's awesome. That's funny. Well, Travis, it has been an absolute pleasure. You brought the fire on this podcast. I'm looking forward to people giving me the feedback on it. We'll continue to connect, and man, what a true pleasure. I appreciate you being on.
God bless you, brother. Let's go, baby. Woo!
Limited risks equals limited income.